Good day and welcome to the Automotive Society podcast. I'm your host, Siraj, and today I'm joined by a new guest, Max.
Hello, I'm Max.
Hey, Max. It seems like we're involving a lot of MQAS executives in the last episode and this one. So, Max, what do you do at MQAS?
So mostly I just sit around and let Mitch do everything. But
What are you meant to be doing?
I'm meant to organize the events as
Right.
the events manager. So organizing the track days and putting together car meets and cruises. I've actually sorted out a couple meets. Mitch does more of the track days though.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I guess track days are a little bit harder to manage, especially if you don't know the funding and everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And Mitch does most of the banking stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Like a track day is just all about the funding. So like
yeah.
it's kind of hard to manage much. And, Mitch likes to.
Fair enough. How long have you been at uni?
So I've done 3 semesters of mechanical engineering.
3 semesters.
3 semesters.
Odd number at the end of the year.
Yeah, well, I started like halfway through a year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. In this episode, yet again, just to refresh you, because I know you haven't watched all the or listened to all the podcasts. This will be more of an introduction on you, how you got into cars, why you got into cars, and how it shaped your life, and what you will be doing in the future with cars. So let's start from the very beginning, I guess. When did you get into cars?
I reckon I first got into like the automotive like area with my first motorbike. So,
Motorbike, that's a new one.
yeah. So when I was 16 and 9 months, I bought my first motorbike. It was a Kawasaki Ninja 250. It's 2012.
Yep.
And I think it's still the second newest vehicle I've ever owned. Out of quite a few. And it was basically just terrible. It was just trash.
Nice.
So I'd been crashed a couple times obviously before, but like being a 16-year-old, I was like, nah, it's fine. It's all good. Just go and buy it, spend all my money. It's like, I think it was like $2,500 or something. And then I ended up replacing the cylinder head and then crashing it. So that was good.
Nice.
Pretty much wrote it off.
All that effort of replacing the cylinder head only to crash it.
Yeah, bent forks and all that. So
How did you crash it?
I was going around McCar's Creek.
Yep.
And it was my last day before I lost my license, which, that's always a good time to go for a ride at 10 p.m. When you have 2 hours left on your license.
Nice.
So
that's crazy to think. I think ever since I've known you, I've known the inevitable. Oh, Max is about to lose his license. Max is about to lose his license. You've lost your license a few times and averted it a few times as well.
I've lost it twice.
Okay, and you're about to lose it now.
I think so. At least one of the two. But,
so
we'll see how we go.
So maybe the next podcast Max is on, you'll see that he rides here on his bicycle because he's lost his license. Okay, so motorbikes got you into the automotive world.
Yeah.
That's new. Did you tinker with them much?
Well, I mean, I think it was just trying to fix the things that were fucked up on on that one.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, like, replacing the cylinder head, working out how to, like, change the spark plugs by, like...
how old were you?
16.
16. So, you just got your license.
Yeah.
Did you have a car license at this point?
I had L's still.
You had your L's, yep.
But...
Did you drive much or ride more?
As soon as I got my bike license, I stopped doing car hours.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you're 16, most people are like, oh yeah, like I may as well just get my hours up and like drive to this place I'm going to. But once you have a motorbike, it's like, why would I go in the car with my parents when I can just hop on the bike and go
Yeah.
and not have to worry about, oh, how am I going to get home or
Yeah.
any of that sort of thing.
I feel like that's definitely a thing. That's why I didn't want to get my bike license till after I got my car license.
Yeah.
So since I was born and brought up in a Southeast Asian country, I've been riding motorbikes since I was like 9. And riding a bike wasn't really a novelty for me. It was more of a chore. Because if my mum wanted me to get, I don't know, bread from the shops, she'd be like, oh, just go get the bread from the shops, and I'd hop on my motorbike, which was like a 125, naked. So like a super small bike. And then I'd ride to the shops, get the bread, come back. And it became a chore to the point, no matter if it was raining or not, I'd be riding a bike to the shops and back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just got sick of it. I just got, I don't like motorbikes. So when I got my license in Australia, I was not very keen on getting my motorbike license straight away. I was like, no, I will get my car license before anything. And then maybe if I really want a motorbike. So yeah, you did it the other way. Then most people do it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Most people do it the other way around, but I sort of like my work wanted me to get it. I was working at Domino's at the time, so obviously they wanted me to do some deliveries. Yeah. So they actually paid for my P's course as well, which was like $200. Yeah, which was pretty good.
That's so good. You know, the P's course is a lot cheaper now than it used to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've reduced the price on it quite a bit.
When I did it, it was 200, I think. I don't know if
when I first did it, it was 200. But one of my mates just went, and I think he said it was like $50 or $40.
Jeez.
I don't know if you got a special deal or not. But yeah. So what car did you drive?
So my first car, well, actually, let's start. I learned to drive in a Mitsubishi Grandis.
Yes.
Automatic.
Yes. What color was it?
It was like a dark grey.
Oh, yes. Exactly. Grandpa spec at its finest.
It was a good whip, you know. Yeah, it was pretty fun.
I'm guessing it was as stock as a rock.
Yeah, definitely stock as a rock.
Yep. And you didn't touch anything on it?
No, of course not. I wouldn't even bother.
Whose car was it?
That was the family car.
The family car.
Yeah.
So.
And then I think I bought a car next. After a while, I bought a car.
Yeah. It
was red.
Nice.
It was a Honda.
Oh, okay. This is going to be fast.
It was slow. It was an EK1 Civic.
Oh, what a monster. Powerhouse.
Yeah.
What motor?
D16.
D16. Yep.
For some time.
The great motor.
Not for the entire time.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So that was your red P-Plater car?
Yeah, that was my red P-Plater car.
Manual?
Manual.
Okay, that's good.
I put coilovers in it.
Yeah.
What else did I do to it? Got it engine swapped.
Engine swapped on your P's?
Yeah. Just the B16A2.
Yeah.
So nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Technically, that's still 20% over the power, is it not? Technically, that needed to be.
But you can drive an EK4.
That's true.
On your P's.
Yep.
So I don't know if I would have got away with that or not.
Oh, you did.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's good.
Yeah.
Is that the car you lost your license in?
So the first time I lost my license, that was actually on the Ninja.
Oh, okay.
We're going back in time, back to the Ninja. So I got my motorbike license on the 29th of May.
Yeah.
2018.
Very specific. I love that you remember this. But yeah.
Was that it? Yeah, because that was 9 months.
Yep.
And then I got my first speeding fine on the 11th of July. So that was going 19 over in a
Oh,
60
wow.
zone
Okay. So it wasn't too bad.
at like 1 a.m.
Oh, as if they cared. So the street
But
was empty.
it was a camera.
Oh no,
Because of
Max.
course, being a 16-year-old, I don't know where any of these cameras are. Like, I didn't even think cameras were a real thing.
It's just a story they tell at campfires.
Yeah.
The scary cameras were out to get you. Fair enough. So that was that. The Civic. Back to this engine swap. Did you do this engine swap in your driveway?
No, I didn't. I actually got it done semi-professionally.
Semi-professionally. Someone else's backyard.
Yeah, pretty much. Nah, they had a workshop. I'm not sure how competent they were.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
That's why I say semi-professional.
So you went for the professional route. They just did a dodgy, half dodgy job on it.
Yeah.
But it ran
Yeah.
without
But,
any problems.
They quoted me a weekend.
Okay.
A month later, I got the car back.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. And it had some issues and had a head gasket leak.
Oh.
But it was fun to drive.
Yeah.
You know.
That's good. So how come you ended up selling it?
I sold it I didn't sell it.
You
I
didn't
swapped it.
You swapped it.
Straight swap. So it was when I swapped it, it was a B16 A2 EK1 Civic with Tane coilovers and function 7 control arms. Like, it was pretty decent.
Yep. Very good for a P plater.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then
I was expecting more along the loud Canon exhaust and the subwoofer.
It
and
actually-
the doof.
it had Skunk 2 headers.
Okay. Wow.
Um,
Fancy mods.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I never wanted to just, have a big fart cannon on the back.
Yep.
I wanted to start at the headers where it actually makes more difference.
I
then-
can't.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
work my way
can't say
back.
the same. I had a Honda Prelude VTIR, and my first mod was Skunk 2 Canon at the back, just a muffler deleted the whole muffler and just put the Skunk 2 Canon on. It was a fairly easy job. I took it to Liverpool exhaust because it needed to be cut and welded.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I made them weld on a new flange so I could bolt it on and off. But the new exhaust didn't. I bought it from JDM Yard in Smithfield.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. And I remember I put it on and I started it up and I was like, oh, that's not actually that loud. What the hell? I wanted it way louder. And then I started driving down the road and the muffler settled or something. I don't know. It warmed up and it suddenly just got so much louder. And that Prelude was literally a fart cannon. It was so loud. That was one of my very first Hondas. Was the Prelude.
Yeah. So the swap. Let's go back to that.
The swap.
The swap. So I had this Civic.
Yep.
And I saw an R31 Skyline.
Yep.
For swap or sale. And the guy was from Canberra and he'd driven up to try and swap with someone who I kind of went to school with and like actually knew, but I didn't know that was who it was at the time. So this guy showed up at my house with his R31 and then my license was suspended at this point.
Nice.
And then he just, took me for a little ride in the R31 because obviously I couldn't drive it.
Yep.
Did a bit of a skid.
Nice.
It was good fun around a big roundabout in Manly.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Manly in Mexico. Yep.
Manly, Mexico. And then I was like, yeah, sweet. Go on, take it. Give me this R31. So it was an RB30, manual swapped with an RB25 DT box.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So it had that's expensive bits now.
Well, that's what I was told.
Oh okay.
Well, I'm not sure how accurate that was, but
In reality, it could be something completely different.
yeah, could be
Okay.
anything.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah, it was a fun car to drive. It was a bit scary.
So you swapped it for that?
Yeah.
Like straight away. You were like just in love.
Uh
Or you
I
were
don't
like,
know.
ooh, shiny, big thing.
It wasn't very shiny. Not gonna lie. I like bought the car and then like posted on Facebook. Oh, like, I bought this car 31 XOXO.
Yep.
And people were like, oh, it's so sad that thing got binned the other day.
What?
And I was like, what? What do you mean?
Oh no.
And then I like found out like the chassis rail was like cracked.
Oh.
And like I already knew it had like a ding on the rear quarter as well on the driver's side. That wasn't too bad. But apparently one of the previous owners had just like sent it over a speed bump or something and like bent or cracked the chassis rail or whatever. It was a bit fucked.
Oh no.
But yeah, that was a fun time.
Was that disappointing?
Nah, I still drove it.
You still drove it. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I wish I could do that. I was too much of a perfectionist as when I was a P-plater. But you know what the funny thing is? I had a BMW E30, right? Like a white one, 2-door.
Yeah.
Manual. And I sort of liked it. I sort of didn't. I bought it for really cheap. So I was like, oh, whatever. You know what? I'm going to sell it and get some profit out of it. And I saw an R31 Skyline up for sale or swap. So I messaged the dude and I said, I'll take the R31 for the E30, but I want like, I think I got 2.5 to 3 grand my way.
Yeah.
Like a fairly decent way my way. And this is when E30s weren't worth anything, but Skylines R31s were worth even less. Like they were worth like $500 at the time.
Yeah.
And the guy said, yeah. And he drove down from Newcastle, but this was pristine. It was a pristine R31 automatic RB30. It had a leak in the power steering, so there was no power steering, so it was super heavy. But everything else about the car was perfect, and like no scratches, no dings. The paint was perfect. The car had been sitting in a barn owned by a mechanic for ever since new. So this guy was the second owner, so I was the third owner. And I just straight swapped it, and that 31 was one of my favorite cars to drive every single day.
Yeah.
Even my girlfriend loved it. She was like, never sell this thing. I love it. And it was really good fun to skid. I think like they're so light in the back.
Yeah.
You just send it around a roundabout and the back just like skips out. And they're like, it's on 195s or something, like super skinny tires.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was definitely a fun car. I love R31s. I actually have a mate now who drifts an R31 Skyline. It's a fully built drift car. About to get a RB25 DET, or DE converted to DET. So that'll be a fun build. Hopefully we can get him on the podcast soon. But yeah. So R31 Skyline.
Yeah.
You realized it was a bit messed up.
I realized it was a bit messed up, and I saw an Integra for sale or swap.
You love this sale or swap thing.
So it was a DC5R.
Okay.
It was blue.
Yeah.
And it was pretty rough externally.
Yep. This is the one that
This is the one that you know.
Yep.
I think I had 291,000 Ks.
Yep.
So quite high.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a bit rough.
But it was a good car. That was a really good car. It had some good bits on it, and so that had a K20A in it.
K20A2.
K20A2. Yep. Cool. Which is the best K20 you want?
Yeah, like the best A delivered one.
Yep.
And then obviously like the 6-speed LSD, which comes stock in the Type R.
Yep.
It had RPF ones, of course,
Of course.
with RA003s on them.
Was it? Oh, okay.
When I bought it, yeah.
Okay.
And then what else did it have? It had, I can't even remember what coilovers they were. K-Sport. They were K-Sport coilovers.
Yep.
And some exhaust on it as well.
Yep. I remember the first time I saw it. I'll paint the viewers a picture. It was a blue Type R. The front bar looked a bit knocked up, like it had been hit somewhere, like it had scratches and dents or something. It was a completely different color. It was grey.
Yeah, like silver.
Yeah, it was like silver grey on a blue car. And then I was like, oh, what the hell is this thing? It looked like a Type R. I think that was what the body kit was trying to go for, was it? And then as it drove away, I looked at the back and the rear bumper was black. So like that like stood out too. This car stood out everywhere. It was pretty loud. And Max drove it quite high RPM like a normal Honda boy would. and yeah, it was like 4 different colors everywhere.
Yeah. So I actually didn't end up swapping it. The guy who was selling the Integra.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't end up swapping the R31. The guy who was selling the Integra was like, nah. This thing's worth like $3,000. And I'm trying to sell my Integra for like, I don't know, 6 or whatever it was.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, what if I did like 2K your way? He was like, nah. So then I just put the R31 up for sale. And I think I sold it for somewhere around 3.5.
Yep.
Which was all right.
Yep.
Yeah, so then I came up with the rest of the money I needed and bought the Integra. I think I ended up with a purchase price of 5.1.
Okay.
For a DC5 Type R.
That's really good.
Bearing in mind, it was put up for sale by the next owner after I sold it for $23,000.
Far out. Yeah, fair enough.
So what did I do to it? I fixed the AC. I think I put what? I replaced the compressor, the AC compressor.
Yep.
Because the AC just like didn't work.
Yep.
And then I bought some new tires. Got RS4s.
Yep.
Which were, pretty good.
Yep.
I got it resprayed for $2,000.
I remember this, and it looks really good on the outside, but you could tell it was a $2,000 paint job.
Yeah.
If you looked at it from far away, it was amazing. The car was nice and shiny and new looking. It's when you go really close, it has like orange peel all over it.
Yeah.
There was crazy overspray under your front bumper. Like your control arms had blue on them.
And the radiator.
The radiator had blue on it. But at least they did it.
But because it was so mismatched and all the clear coat was all so fucked on it.
Yep.
The $2,000 paint job saved more than $2,000. Increased the value.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I didn't lose money by getting it resprayed.
Yeah.
Which was sort of what I wanted. Like if I'd gone with a $7,000 paint job.
Yeah, fair enough.
On a car which had 300,000 Ks.
I think $2,000 is not that bad. Considering all you needed to do was like sand the orange peel off a little bit, and you would have had a perfect paint job on the outside.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That was pretty good. But it had a few problems, didn't it?
Gearbox problems.
And how did this gearbox problem come about?
Well, apparently you're not supposed to just like smash into second at like 8,000 RPM down from third.
So we took Max to a track day at London, and you were the most notorious for going down the main straight full blast, and you could hear this Honda from so far away, and then while it's still almost at red line, Max just downshifts and smashes it into the next gear past red line. So over revving it at every downshift,
Yeah.
slamming it into second, taking this corner at full throttle, and then upshifting again, only to downshift back into over revving red line and keep doing that lap after lap after lap.
Yeah, it was good fun.
It was a fun track day. You had some fun time, and you definitely have one of the fastest times, which was
Yeah.
good. That Integra held up a lot better than I expected.
Yeah.
You
In terms of an NA car, it
kept
was
up with the
STI.
STI, yeah.
I was half a second behind.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah, double clutching, not granny shifting like. But yeah, that was definitely a fun day, but it was not very fun for your gearbox.
Nah, it was it was a bit of a struggle.
So what happened to your gearbox? You lost a few gears, or?
Oh, it was just a bit temperamental. So on that day, I was able to use third fine.
Yep.
And I was able to go into second if I held it in.
Yep.
And then a couple weeks later, I couldn't get into third for some reason. I literally couldn't even push it in. And then a while after that, I just decided fuck it, and I just fucking rammed it in there. Just got it in there, and then it worked pretty well. But obviously, still struggled with second. But yeah, anyway, it was just pretty fucked.
Yeah, fair enough. And you sold it like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's a pretty expensive gearbox to replace. They're $2,000 or more just for the gearbox. Because it's the top K series gearbox.
Yep.
And then so this guy came to look at buying it, and he was like, "Oh, I can see a bit of rust under there," when he was looking at the underbody.
Yep.
And it was underneath the wheel well. So we open up the boot and pull out the spare wheel, and the whole thing is just rusted out.
Oh no.
Like paper.
Oh my god.
And he offered me 14 grand, and I was like, yeah, all right, go on then.
Fair enough.
Not bad on a car I bought for 5.1.
Yeah, definitely not. And you thrashed and had fun with.
Yeah.
So that's good. But I think you missed out on a car. During that Integra, you also had another one.
I had more cars. When I had the Civic, I bought a GQ Patrol.
Yep.
Which was it was the coil cab GQ Patrol.
Yep.
With a aftermarket turbo. And it was the TD42 engine, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
That was a good car.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of those. I think they're really good cars.
Yeah.
A lot of people I know modify them, so they're definitely very capable of everything,
definitely.
power, off-roading.
Yeah.
But I guess it takes a lot of money to get them there.
Yeah. So I think I bought that for 18.5.
Yep.
And then it was pretty good. It was running 15 PSI. It was a good fun car. I took it off-roading a bit just around the place.
Yep.
Up near the Blue Mountains, and yeah, it was pretty fun.
Fair enough.
And then I just sold it because it was just too much money at the time for me to have in a car.
Yep.
I was 17 when I bought it, and it was 20 grand almost, which I paid in cash.
I guess, that is a lot of money for a 17-year-old.
Yeah, so it was just a lot for me to just look at and have on the street.
Yep.
I mean, as opposed to now where I have a lot more than that
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, so you had one 4-wheel drive and one, I guess, fun little car, sports car.
And at that same time, I had a CBR 250 RR
Oh, yes.
as well.
That was one of my first bikes.
Yeah, that was an amazing bike to ride.
The Honda Baby Blade.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah, I do agree. It was one of the most fun bikes, but oh my god, are they loud and annoying?
Yeah.
They are so loud, and when you first hear it, you're like, "Wow, this is sick! I love how it sounds," and it revs to 20,000 RPM. I'm pretty sure it's the highest revving motor I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
20,000 RPM. I remember, yeah, you would just pull the throttle and just keep going and going and going and going and going, and people
Yeah.
are just looking at you. Is this man ever going to shift? But no, I always hit the shifts at 20,000 RPM.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really just a fun bike, especially with a straight pipe.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't fast.
It was fast for a 16-year-old or 17. It was pretty good.
Yeah, I guess so. It was
Coming from my Ninja, which was running on one cylinder.
Yeah, fair enough. Coming from a Ninja is definitely not the fastest thing. I think they made 48 horsepower.
Yeah, something like that.
It wasn't too slow. Definitely not for a L plater.
Yeah.
That was the bike I had on my L plates, and definitely wasn't slow for L plates. I still got in plenty of trouble with it.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, 250 double R. That's a fun bike to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did you have that thing for?
I think I had it for a year or 6 months or something.
Okay.
I had it for a while. I think.
I love how that's a while. 6 months. I had my 250 double R for I think a year and a half.
Yeah. It was a really, I maybe had it longer than that. I maybe had it a year. I think I did have it a year.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. It's a good bike. Okay. So you had 3 vehicles.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot for a 17-year-old to afford.
Yeah.
3 cars and their regos, and then modifying them on top of that, like you.
Although
Engine swapping the Civic.
At that point, I'd never paid a registration because
Oh.
I just bought and sold.
Yeah.
I
do
didn't
understand.
pay for rego on any of those 3 vehicles at any point.
Yeah, that's true. Evo was my first car that I ever did brake pads and tires on. I sold cars like way too much.
Yeah.
So I never had the chance to change the brake pads or the tires.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that. I always did regos because I bought a lot of unregistered cars and then I registered them.
Yeah.
But yeah, tires and brake pads I just never did.
Yeah, I think the first car that I paid rego on was the Integra.
Okay.
So that was
like your 6th car or something.
No, it would have been fourth
Okay.
car.
That's not too bad.
So while I owned the Integra, I bought a Holden Commodore,
Oh my god.
a VY S-Pack
Oh my god.
automatic
Yeah.
for $789.
Wow. That's a bargain.
Yeah, it was a bargain. That's
That
why
is
I
a
bought
bargain. Yeah, I don't blame you now.
I bought it off Pickles
Nice.
from Wagga Wagga.
Nice.
Had a cracked windshield and a dead battery,
Yep.
which I didn't realize the battery was that dead until I got halfway home and stopped for fuel.
Oh no.
Because like they jump started the car for me when I picked it up.
Yep.
Drove halfway home, and I was like, "Alright, I'm gonna run out of fuel. I better like pull over for fuel."
Yeah.
And then I was like, you
And it
can't
didn't
jump
start.
start automatics.
Oh no.
So I had to get the local mechanic to help me out.
So it was at least it was during the day.
Yeah.
It would have been way worse at night.
And then I drove straight to the nearest like Repco, I think it was, which was 45 minutes away.
Yep.
On the highway.
Yep.
I was like, I need a battery, otherwise I cannot get home. Please help me.
Yep.
So I bought a battery there. I didn't have any tools with me. I just asked them, can I please borrow your tools?
Yeah.
Installed this battery. And then it was fine. Drove it home. got the windshield replaced. And then after a couple months, I think I was just over it driving automatic all the time. So I put it up for sale. I put it up for 5.5.
Oh, wow.
And there was this one guy, he messaged me and was like, oh, like I really want to buy your car, but like I have to sell my car to be able to afford it. And I was like, no worries, mate. What car do you have? So he had a manual Holland Astra SRI
Yeah.
coupe, I
Yep,
think it
yep.
was. And he also had 3.5 grand in cash. So that's what I got.
Nice.
So that was a pretty good trade for me. So
Well, you got a manual and something comfortable
yeah, and
and some cash.
more cash than I'd put in.
Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, I was pretty happy with that trade.
Yep.
And yeah, it was a pretty comfy car to drive. I didn't really do any modifications to it at all.
Yeah. Why would you?
It was just
You're not Mitch. You don't need
Yeah.
to modify a Holden Cruise.
yeah, it was good. I was working in Hornsby at that time and commuting from like Manly. So it was good driving home. Had cruise control. Was nice and comfy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And at that time, I hadn't bothered to pay the registration on the Integra because I already had the Commodore
Yep.
and then had
And
the
then
Astra.
Yeah.
So that was just my daily, really. And then the Integra was just sitting in the driveway.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, good times.
I think it's still more like that, but I feel like I find more time to drive all my cars now than I did when I was a P-plater.
Yeah.
I used, like, if I had multiple cars when I was a P-plater, I would never be driving one of them. I would always focus on one of them, which was the most comfortable one, and then just focus on that and drive that every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter how much you say that you'll drive all of them, you really don't end up doing that.
Yeah, I definitely go through phases at the moment. Like the past 2 weeks, I haven't driven my Patrol. I think I've driven my BRZ 3 times.
Yeah.
And I've ridden my motorbike probably 12 out of 14 days.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
So
There you go.
I don't know. It's been pretty sunny though, so that's definitely good.
So your collection now, what's your collection now? So you have, you've already said it. So you've got 2 cars and a bike now.
Yeah.
So what bike is it now?
So it's a CBR 125R, which I bought for $900.
That seems like quite a downgrade from both the Ninja and the
Yeah.
But 250RR.
I haven't had any speeding fines on it yet. So
that's good. Is that because you can't speed on it?
yes. Which is half the reason that I bought it.
Yeah, that's good. So you had restraint. That's good. I've got my bike fulls now, and I don't think I could buy myself a 125 and just be happy with it.
Yeah, I was looking at test rides the other day. What can I test ride?
Yeah.
Now that I got my fulls, 4 days ago.
Yeah.
We'll see how long the 125 lasts now.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe I should give the 125 a go. Maybe that can become my daily.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because it was $900.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just always at Redline, which is still like 11 or 12k.
Yeah.
It's just slow.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. But like today you can get like even Ninja 250s for like $900. You can get Ninja 300s for like $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's not horrendous, I guess. But that's that. Okay, cars wise, what cars do you have?
So I have a Subaru BRZ 2013.
Yep.
With a turbo kit.
Yep.
Which is running about 8-9 PSI.
Okay. I'd say that's still on the higher end for a stock FA.
it's kind of like mid-range.
Mid-range.
Like,
Okay.
Some people run like 5 to 6, but some people definitely run like 12 or 13, and that's not like crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought the FA20 couldn't handle much boost in the 86s at least.
I think people are just like scared because obviously it's a new motor.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair enough. But you definitely don't need the 12 or 13 pounds. How much
No.
power is your car making
So I've got 175 kilowatts
at the wheels?
at the wheels or at the hubs.
At the
Yeah.
hubs.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. That's decent power. The car weighs what, 1,200 kilos?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. And yeah, fair enough. You've taken this to the track?
I did take it to the track. It was good fun, but it definitely needs a brake upgrade, which is currently being manufactured
That's good. That's
in
good.
China.
Nice. So it'll be here soon. Soonish.
We'll see. I think it's something like 5 weeks away.
Okay.
We're
That's all
hoping.
right. That lets you get ready for it at least when it comes.
Yeah.
It'll be a simple bolt on.
Yeah.
That's good. A BRZ is a really good choice.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy the car?
Yeah, it's really fun to drive. Even with 255 semi-slicks, it just, kicks out a bit.
That's crazy to think. So it's obviously more power than the car can handle itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Driving in the wet, bit scary, but
Yep.
it's just like the first time I really drove it, I was like a bit scared.
Yeah.
But it just took a bit of like getting used to.
Yeah.
I'd never really driven a car with that much power. Obviously, like I had some experience on motorbikes with that sort of like power to weight
Yeah.
ratio. Like having ridden like a couple 500s and
But it's
Even-
not the same
yeah,
thing, is it?
it's
Like
just
on a
not the same.
500, you can't really lose traction in the rear just by accelerating.
yeah, Yeah.
It's even hard to do a wheelie on a 500,
yeah,
whereas your BRZ is definitely not as tame
yeah,
or as refined, I guess, because it's mostly aftermarket.
yeah, definitely.
So what's the purpose of the BRZ?
So really, it's a track car is the goal.
So
but
mainly
it's-
a track car.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a
But-
good goal.
it's we're trying to keep it semi-street legal or registered at
Okay,
this point.
that's good.
Um,
That's a
Just-
good goal to have.
yeah.
So mainly to drive it to the track and back, or just for the sake of having it registered?
yeah, I feel like at this point, I need to be able to drive to and from the track and, drive around here and there.
Yep. So
Um,
is that because you don't have a car trailer yet?
Yes,
Okay,
pretty much.
fair enough.
And
But you do
also-
have a tow car.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also don't really have anywhere to park a car trailer or a track car,
Yeah, okay.
which is a significant issue.
But you can park the track car on the trailer and then just have to find the space for the trailer.
Yeah. But it's a
Actually,
bit scary having a car parked on a trailer. It's
Yeah, it definitely
very
is.
easy to steal that. Just, hook it
Well,
up.
that, and also I think the trailer's not, like the jockey wheel is probably not going to be able to handle that much weight. But yeah, I can totally get what you mean about parking space for a trailer. As you saw outside, my
Yeah.
trailer's sitting on the road, and it's kind of made my two-way road into a one-way road.
Yeah. It's a pretty big
It's
Big
huge.
thing
Yeah,
to
it's
have on the
definitely
road.
wider than a normal car, so it takes up a lot of the road. My neighbors have actually complained about it twice now. So
really.
So it does have to go away from here. I've only got it here because I was moving some couches. So I've got to move some more couches and then take it back to my workshop where it can sit again.
Does your car trailer move more cars or furniture?
It's a 50-50, I'd say. Actually, in the first 3 weeks of owning that car trailer, I think I towed 9 cars, including my own. So 2 of them were my own. So 7 cars for other people. And then I got really sick of towing cars because another thing my car trailer doesn't have is a winch. So, and I think all of them were dead. So the only way to move it was actually physically push it onto the trailer and then load it and unload it like that. So I got really sick, and I just started telling people like, no, you are not borrowing my trailer. No, I will not move your car for you. Call a towie. And then I parked it up at my workshop, and then I just kind of forgot about it. I was like, nah, I'm not moving anyone's car again. And then someone asked if I could move their couch, and I was like, yeah. And they were like, oh, will that fit in your Jeep in the 4-wheel drive? And I was like, there's no way I can fit a couch inside my car. But then I was like, oh wait, I have a car trailer. I can chuck it on the couch. I can chuck it on the trailer. So I helped someone move a couch, and then someone else saw that. So I helped someone else move like a dining table, and then it eventually became, hey, I've got so much furniture to move, and then I've got new couches for this room, which you'll see when this podcast becomes video as well. And then I started moving my own furniture around, and then my parents said they wanted furniture moved. So I've definitely moved a lot of tables and couches on that car trailer now.
Yeah.
But I'm glad moving couches and tables is a lot easier than moving cars. So
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
have to push dead cars on. I just chuck the couch on and strap it down, and off I go.
Yeah.
It's also a lot easier to tow.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit easier than a car.
I wish I had one of those car trailers I could turn into a box trailer.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I know one person that has one of those, and I was like, damn, I should have thought of that. That was sick. Yeah, you can at the drop of a hat turn it into a box trailer, and I can move all my engines and gearboxes on it too. Whereas moving my engines on it now is kind of dodgy.
Yeah, it's a bit sketchy.
Yeah, it's doable. I'll do it. I'll just put it on a pallet jack and then, and then move it around. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. Okay. Third vehicle, I guess, is GQ Patrol.
It is my second one that I've owned.
Yep.
The first time that I've owned two cars the same out of 14 or 15 vehicles or something.
Yeah. That's not a bad record.
Yeah.
You've had other 4-wheel drives, right? So you've had Land Cruisers?
Yeah. I had a 45 series Land Cruiser.
Yep.
Which I drove once in a year.
Nice.
And mostly just sat in the driveway, annoying my parents.
Yep.
What else did I have? I had a BMW 5 Series, which was a bit cooked.
Oh, yes, I remember this. I remember this. And you bought that at Pickles Auction as well.
I did. I bought it from Pickles Auction.
Yeah.
I'm
surprised it actually drove as much as it did drive, being a BMW, and then especially being from a Pickles Auction.
Yeah, it was pretty sketchy.
For those people who don't know, Pickles Auction is where they sell off wholesale cars or cars that have been written off or wrecks or just cars that have so many problems that a dealership doesn't want to touch it.
Yeah, or like repossessions and that sort of thing as well.
Yeah, with that's true. But it's usually you don't know the history of the car too much.
Yeah.
They don't like to disclose it. And you can buy something that was written off or something that is pristine but just never got around or never sold at a dealership lot.
Yeah.
So dealerships will normally wholesale it to Pickles, who will then auction the cars off. So buying a car from there is a huge gamble. I've seen many horror stories from Pickles auctions, and I've also seen a few rare gems that come out of there. Like one of my mates bought an MX-5 for 3.5, an NA MX-5, and all they had was a bit of hail damage on the bonnet.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, I think I did really well out of the Commodore that I bought there.
Yep.
But the BMW, not so well.
Not so well.
I didn't lose money, but the idea of buying that car was to, have a bit of a daily, but also make a bit of money as well.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to...
So you sort of broke even?
Yeah. So I think I bought it for $4,500 or something, and then by the time I had done rego, I was like $6,000 in. So and then I sold it for $6,000.
Okay.
Which obviously I knew I had to pay rego, so I was expecting to be in $6,000.
Yep.
But I was hoping that I was going to sell for more like 8 or 9.
Yep.
Well,
on the market they sell for about what, 10, 11?
It's hard to tell. Like, I feel like they just don't sell that much.
Yeah, maybe they're up for 10, 11, but they're not really selling. or they're just waiting out for the perfect buyer, which
Yeah.
may take 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
Fair enough. There's definitely cars like that. I've had a few problems with a few cars like that.
And I feel like that sort of car, like a BMW 5 Series, is the sort of car, because it's also not P plate legal.
Yes, that's true.
Is the sort of car that the people who buy them are people who go to a dealership, not people who buy privately.
It's usually people who have money, not really people looking to buy a cheap deal on second-hand market.
Or even people who don't have that much money but just trust dealerships blindly.
So what was up with the BMW?
It had gearbox issues.
Okay. Did it throw warning lights everywhere?
Yeah, lots of warning lights. But mostly just for that. And then I think maybe the battery was a bit low as well, so that didn't help.
Okay. Yeah. I know in those European cars, when the battery's a little bit low, they usually throw up random control module faults because there's like low voltage in control modules that throw up a lot of issues. But fair enough. So you sold the BMW.
Yeah.
And so at one point you sold your entire fleet, right? You sold the Integra and the BMW and the Land Cruiser at the same time before you bought something else. Is that correct? So you sold everything to accumulate your money?
Not quite. I think I had the BMW and so I had the Land Cruiser, the Integra and the motorbike.
Yep.
I sold the Integra. I bought the BMW.
Yep, okay.
I sold the Land Cruiser. Bought the BRZ.
Yep.
And then sold the BMW.
Bought a Patrol.
Bought the Patrol.
Yep. So, okay. More about your Patrol. What's been done to it?
It's got... Apparently, it was a 3-inch lift to begin with.
Okay.
But it's now more like a 2-inch, which is pretty common.
Okay.
For it to sag down a little bit.
Yep.
It's pretty rough. I bought it for 10K.
Okay.
It's a TD42 coil cab ute.
Okay, so similar to what you had before.
Literally exactly the same, just rough and without a turbo kit.
Without a turbo kit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of people get confused. They think a TD42 is like turbo diesel.
Yeah.
But it's just like, that's just the engine code.
Yep.
It's just TD.
Yeah.
Like same as an FA20.
Yep.
Like those letters, they stand for something, but
I get what you mean. Yeah. Like you always have the 2 letters of engine codes.
So it's actually the TD42T, which is the turbo model. But so it's a non-turbo TD42. It runs well enough, I think, at the moment. I haven't driven it for a while.
Have you towed with it yet?
I have not towed with it yet.
Okay.
I have driven it quite far. I drove it down. I drove it pretty much down to Canberra and back again.
Yep.
On the same day we had the track day. That was a big day of driving for me.
Nice.
I think I spent 11 hours driving.
Far out. So where was this track day?
At Wakefield.
And how did the so the BRZ did good except for the brakes?
Yes.
So it was good in every other way. Did you time it?
The timing, I think my sister was the passenger. I think she stuffed it up, or I stuffed it up when we were setting it up. So I think I only actually got one properly timed lap.
Okay.
And I think it was maybe like a 1:17.
Okay.
But that could have been a lap where I came off.
Yep.
Like I have no clue if that was a good lap for me or a bad lap for me or what.
Okay. Fair enough. So maybe we get some timing stuff next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be a good plan.
Yeah. I think we should invest in you can get little modules, like GPS modules that do the timing for you. And they do telemetry as well. Like you can record the G's, the acceleration, everything in one little module.
Yeah, wow.
So if we all buy just one, then we can share it, I guess. Yeah, they're pretty good to have. But very expensive, obviously. I think
Yeah.
they're like $400, $400.
I was expecting you to say more when you said very expensive. I
Oh
was
well,
expecting you to
expensive
say
for
like
like
1,500.
the box is literally like 5 centimeters by 3 centimeters. Like it's
Yeah.
super tiny box, and it just plugs into power and just sits on your dash. So $400 for something so small and does something so simple yet cool, I guess, is expensive. Compared to some of the apps, obviously, you can get for like
Yeah.
$20 that people
Yeah.
use. Then the other option is you get like a Garmin Catalyst, which is like $1,400, and that thing even coaches you through the corners. It tells you where to go, where you went wrong, and how to do it.
Yeah, jeez.
I think that's a bit too intense. Yeah. But yeah, fair enough. I think that's most of your car collection. I think, if not all of it.
Yeah. We didn't really speak about the Land Cruiser. The Land Cruiser was...
Well, I guess you didn't really do much to it, did you? Well, you tried to do a lot to it.
Yeah, I tried to do a lot. But it showed up not running and it left not running.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It just sat on my driveway for a year.
Fair enough. So what's with this trend? What's with the trend of having one big four-wheel drive and one little sports car? It's just that's what you wanted?
Yeah.
You always want one
I
motorbike,
think-
one four-wheel drive, and one sports car?
Yeah, I think that's probably just the right thing for me.
Yeah.
Like before, I had the Integra, the Land Cruiser, and the motorbike.
Yeah.
And I think initially I did buy the Land Cruiser to be like sort of like a cool tow vehicle, but I decided it was like too unreliable, just because I like hadn't really got it going properly.
Yeah.
And it was just like wasn't going to be like a safe tow vehicle with no power steering or none, like no ABS or anything.
Yeah. Fair enough. You
and
want something a little bit
old
more
tech.
reliable.
Yeah.
I think I actually prefer automatic tow vehicles. I don't really want to be dealing with the gears and stuff. I kind of like the car to do that when I'm towing. I'd rather deal with where the trailer's going and what the trailer's doing than worrying about what gear I'm in as well. Okay, fair enough. I think that will be us on the time. We're reaching 1 hour. Thank you very much for coming, Max.
Thanks for having me.
And love to know more about all your car stories. I'm sure you have
There's
more car
definitely
stories.
a lot more.
Yeah. Which I think we'll save for another podcast.
Yeah.
But I hope you guys enjoyed that one. And you never actually told us how you got into cars. How you got motorbikes is how you got into the automotive industry. But how did you get your first motorbike? What made you get a motorbike?
Well, I think initially it was like I was going to get the license for work anyway.
Yeah.
And then I was like, all right, so if I'm getting the license, I want to have the freedom. So I'll go and buy a motorbike. I had some savings anyway.
Yeah. So you just bought a motorbike for the heck of it and then realized that you really liked
and
really liked motors. Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But before that you weren't really crazy about driving or riding.
Wasn't really interested even, couldn't tell you.
That's
anything.
crazy. Yeah, okay. It's good to know your perspective. It's such a different perspective from all the other guests we've had who've always been like, oh, we loved cars, we had poster cars and this and that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you're more like, nah, couldn't care less about cars. Then got my license, had to buy a vehicle, and then loved it. And then ever since then, just been into it.
Yeah.
And now you track your car,
Yeah.
which is more than what most people can say.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that they've loved cars since they were little, but they've never gone to the track and never actually done anything involving using their car to its full potential.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good thing to say. I definitely encourage people to go to the track more than I encourage just getting a car. It doesn't matter what you have, it doesn't matter what mods you do, just go to the track first and then work your way up from there. If you don't like driving at the track, chances are you're going to do all your mods and you're probably going to regret it because you don't really really want your car to go in that direction. And that way, that will tell you if you want to just do aesthetic mods and never be able to drive it to the track because you don't
Yeah.
really interested in that.
I mean, there's definitely two ways to look at your mods. There's performance and then the aesthetics as actually being an art piece.
Yeah. But there's
versus
also
being-
comfort, right? So there's
Yeah.
3 ways you could go. But I know a lot of people that go towards performance and then never take their car to the track.
Yeah.
Or performance and then take their car to the track once and then go, nah, that's not for me. There's a few people that went to our first track day that said that and said, nah, the track is not really for me. And that's totally fine. That's fair enough. But then there are also the people who go about and upgrading their turbos and upgrading their cams and getting all this performance out of their car that is going to sit on the street. And I think that's a bit of a waste.
Yeah. Especially because it's so expensive to do car modifications.
Yeah, you're spending so much money, time, and effort to go 80 kilometers an hour on Pacific Highway. Well, that's not even a thing. 60 kilometers an hour on Pacific Highway.
Yeah.
100 Ks on the motorway. Like a little Suzuki Swift can do this. You don't need to have.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a crazy RB30 or RB25 build. You know. Fair enough. Anyway, I think going over time, getting on a tangent. Thank you all for listening. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Thanks for listening.
And follow us on Instagram, which is the Automotive Society _ And hopefully the next podcast or the next, at least in a few podcasts, we'll have video aspect as well. So the podcast will go on YouTube as well. So if you want to check out our faces, you'll feel free to do that. And
I don't know why you'd want to, but
yeah. But if you ever want to put a face to the voice, go for it and give us a follow. Thank you and see you later.